This is the brutal bastard Harsh. This is the third generation monster Damian Blackwell. And I'm the mistress of the monsters, Halo. And we are Power Trip. You're watching
Johnny's Garage.
Back in the late 20th century, there was a place that created champions. A place that made men. That legendary place is talked about today. That place is...
All right, hey, welcome to Johnny's Garage. We got another exciting interview for everybody. You know me, you know the big man on top.
Hey, Johnny Nation.
And on the bottom, we have the very last trainee that ever came through Johnny's Garage. The one that stuck with the business for some reason and made a good little career. We have Mr. Chris Ace.
What's happening?
All right, since you're Johnny's Garage, I'm going to let Martin ask the question.
What?
All right.
Okay, I'll ask the question. Same question we ask everybody to come out of Johnny.
We're starting off with the question?
Yes.
Okay, I thought we were going to have to warm up for that.
No, there is no warm up for this one.
All right.
So we talk about Johnny's all the time. We talk about everything we did there. But the one thing that we try to get people to understand, and I want you to answer this for us, what was it like being in Johnny's ring?
Oh my gosh,
The training ring.
The training ring, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of, and I was trying to think of a way to compare it, but right before I got in the business, I fell asleep behind the wheel of a car and bounced off a garbage truck and flipped. That's what it felt like. That is exactly what it felt like. Let's put it this way. I once took a spine buster on a hardwood floor and everybody was freaked out. And I said, what? It's 10 times softer than my training ring.
Yes. But that is the question, the opening question for all of our guys.
And that is about the answer we get.
And so we try to impress upon people why the guys coming out of Johnny's were tough like we were and why we were so hard. But we were as hard as the ring we trained in. And that's about the truth of it, you know.
It's 100% true. Yeah, it was there. I mean, you would be in locker rooms and guys were complaining about the stiff ring that night or something. And I'm like, man, that thing feels like my bed.
Yeah.
What year did you come in?
It would have been, I want to say this, like the spring of 2001.
All right. Who found who? Because I know Tony brought you up that way.
So, a guy at my gym knew Tony, and he kind of paired us up together. And I met Tony a couple times. He kind of talked to me a bit to see if I was, flaky or not, really wanted to do it. And then he had me go up and, see you guys at the Shriners once. And then the next week we were all in the training ring for the first time.
Well, my question is, did you ever talk to that guy again that set you up with Tony?
Unfortunately, I still hear from that guy today. So, uh,
Well, no, Tony wasn't a bad guy to bring you in. Tony wasn't
no,
a bad guy.
mm-mm.
Now
Not at all. Not at all.
We all joke, Tony was stiff as a board, but he wasn't bad.
Tony also had a thing for excellence. He always strived to be better all the time. And so I got a question. The first time you came to Johnny's, was I there?
No, you were not. I don't think.
I was working pretty steady during that time.
Yeah,
and,
you came in maybe the second time. Now, but you and I had been in the ring together because it was when the day I met you briefly at the Shriners, that one show, and then the next show at the National Guard Armory, we walked in and you had somebody in the ring working them out, and then Tony just looked at me and said, "Get in there." And that was so we had and at the time I had never even been in a training ring with Tony. So I mean, I had like very little where I was taught the basics of how to take a back bump and a front bump on like a gymnastics mat, but that was it. That was really all I had.
Fire and flames. That's the only way you can learn.
And while we're talking about Tony, I'm going to tell you what made you hate the guy, but what also made you love the guy, and also made you appreciate what the wrestling business was in that, and by was, I mean was in the past. And this story will sum up all that. So I've had a couple of training sessions. I've been in the ring with Rowie. He didn't kill me. I'm feeling good about myself. So we're now going back to the Shriners again. And we get up there, we're gonna train before the show, nobody's there. So Tony's like, "Man, y'all wanna go get something to eat? Nobody's here." We're like, "All right." So we go out to eat, me, him, and Stan. And he's like, "Man, you know what sounds really good? Chinese food." I'm like, "I like Chinese food, all right." And we go to a Chinese buffet. And I'm like, "Man, we got a show tonight." And I mean, I can't remember if I worked that show or not. I don't think I did. But he's like, "Man, is that all you're gonna eat? It's an all you can eat buffet. Go get you another plate." I'm like, "Well, you think I should?" And I'm like, "That's a lot, and because I dieted real hard back then. I didn't want to get sick." He's like, "Ah, man, you've already eaten that. Go, come on." It's like, "Man, you know what looked good is that ice cream up there. Y'all want to go get some dessert?" And so then, I mean, he's just like force feeding us, right? And then we get back to the show or to the Shriners, and people have started to arrive. And as soon as we walk in the door, and we're like rubbing our stomachs, like, "Dude, I got to find a bathroom." We walk in the door. Tony turns around and says, "Well, time to train." We're like, "Whoa, what? No. I mean, we got to wait a minute, man." He goes, "No, come on, let's go." And I mean, he has us we had to do like 20 push-ups and then like 10 jumping jacks and then sprint into the ring, slide into the bottom rope, take 3 bumps, run the ropes, slide out, go back to doing the push-ups. And we did that for about 30 minutes. And I really thought I was going to die. If I hadn't been 19 years old at the time, I probably would have. That's when I learned what a rib was.
Yes. You just summed Tony up pretty quick. Oh my God. I remember Tony being out behind the building teaching people how to lock up with the wrong hand.
Oh Lord.
And just steadily teaching them how to lock up with the wrong hand, and they send them into the show and the guys lock up backwards, and it's just like, oh my God. Tony loved to rib on people. He would catch you coming in for a lockup and make you hit him in the head and start screaming at you. Why the hell you keep hitting me? You know, yeah, he was great at it.
But you
Yeah.
know we all did that.
I
Oh
know,
yeah.
I know.
He was good at it. I gotta give him credit. Still to this day, he's just goofy. He got me one time, when we were at PWA and Bobby had talked me into changing my gimmick up and put me with River and we were doing this new tag team and I needed a new gimmick. I'm like I really needed something to go with that character. So Tony's like, "Well, I can get Sam to make something for you. I got you." And I'm like, "You sure?" And he's like, "Yeah. Yeah, I got it. I got it. I got it. Don't worry." So we got to stakeout. Remember, we all used to always meet
Oh
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
stakeout. Yeah, and he's like,
straight out. Yep.
man, I got dude, I left it sitting on the dining room table. I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Man, I really needed that." And he's like, "Sorry. I mean, we could go back, but I mean, we're gonna be late, All right, um, so I'm like, I guess I just got to make do with what I got to make do with. And we get down there. He still hadn't said another word about it. And we get into the locker room. I put my bag down. I go to the bathroom, and then I come back and I unzip my bag, and there it is, sitting right there, the gimmick.
Sitting out there. Yep.
He
That's Tony.
sold that for 3.5 hours.
Well, speaking of PWA, there's another story we love to tell. And it was about the last time Tony drove your car.
Oh,
Yeah, when we made it from Pensacola to Montgomery in less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
And that was the last time you ever let him drive.
Well, he did better than me. I was never allowed to drive Chris's car.
that's because you didn't fit in the front seat.
I didn't. I remember it being really cold with the top down a couple of times so I could fit in the stupid thing.
Well, I have no problems with letting them drive my car, but I make sure it's a short distance because I remember driving to Pensacola and he was coming down late and he was in a farm truck and passed everybody and stopped to eat in between.
Oh, yeah, I passed y'all, and then I stopped at Shawnee's and eat the buffet, and then I got back on the road and passed you again.
Whatever happened to that old truck?
That was actually my daddy's truck, and my nephew has it now. He's turned it into a four-wheel drive now, but it's still around.
Good.
But
Oh wow. Okay.
no, Pensacola was something that all of us had very much in common. Uh, it was a good show. You're talking about tagging with River. I had to tag with Cornbread. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, good stuff.
Man, y'all don't even want to talk about tagging because you know who I had to tag with right after they poured liquid heat down his drawers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Guapo.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about Pensacola, me, you, Tony, and Chris. We were the last four really out of Johnny's garage that were steady on the road. Pete was just here and there when we had a show close. Donnie was kind of doing his stuff a little bit. Josh was in and out at the time. We were the last four that were really hard charging on the road.
Yeah. And about as far as I ever remember Josh going at that time was Silicaga. They kept it close. Yeah, we were the only ones that went out and traveled.
Well, did you do the Tennessee
Pensacola
any of them, Chris?
Say that again.
Did you do any of the Tennessee shows?
You and I did one in Chattanooga one time.
Right. We rode up there and rode back with nothing.
Yeah. What do we get? 10 each.
something like that.
Like,
It
well,
wasn't
you
even
want to
worth
go
the
to
trip.
Arby's?
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't really do much work in Tennessee. As a matter of fact, I think that's the only time I ever worked in Tennessee. But yeah, we had found, and that's what was so awesome about PWA is when you have organization that gets that hot, well, it's gonna pump life into that territory long after it's gone. And
Yeah.
I mean, it where you had Sika who put PWA in one of his storylines. And it's like, it was a great show. And, we found that, and that was just the direction it took me. And, I got connected with a bunch of those guys down there and continued, working their shows and going down there. And I just was having so much fun working with them. And I mean, it just had everything you never ever would need right there. You were able to work with, you know, people like the Armstrongs, and and then of course the Samoans before they all started making it big. And it was
Yeah.
just a great environment. I never had any reason to go to Tennessee or Georgia or Mississippi. It was like, man, we were Gulf Coast all the way from there on out. I think the only time I really did anything in Alabama, other than, on the coast in Mobile, was when we did the USWA shows.
Well, Chris, you just brought up something that's a really sore subject, so I'm going to let Big Man take the floor.
I knew this was coming.
You brought it up, man. I'm surprised you made it up there today. It's kind of cloudy outside. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
question. I have seen you drive through thunderstorms, icy roads, fog where you couldn't see, but
Mhm.
it was a perfectly sunny day and you said you couldn't make it because there might be a storm coming.
Okay. First off, there was not a storm coming there. There was a storm coming here where my family is.
yeah.
And I was not going to go south where it was safe and leave them here where it was not.
You could have brought them with you, Bubba. The more the merrier.
Yeah, that would have never happened.
We're
But
going. Hey, I've got to give you hell, man. So,
I know. Well, do you want to
uh,
give me more? Because there's more to that story.
Oh, Lord.
is there?
Yeah. So I had a claim inspection scheduled for that day down in the Wetumpka area. And I had planned on just knocking it out real quick and going there, and was going to do it later in the day. So when I saw what was going on with the weather that was going to hit later in the day, I called the guy and said, I can come down earlier. So I ended up going and doing it. So I was actually there and turned around and came back. But it was very, very difficult. So I called my wife and talked to her about it. I said, all I got to do is kill about another hour and a half in Prattville, and then I can head to Wetumpka. Because I can't remember it was out in the middle of nowhere or whatever it was. I had to go down all these red dirt roads. And, but wherever that was, I had to go. I mean, I was right there and could have just stayed. But, as it turns out, though, I remember that night real well. Nothing ended up happening here at all. However, Calera was hit hard. And at the time that I probably would have been passing back through. So
Yeah, Alan Martin had to run out because the tornado hit his house while he was there.
oh
He
wow.
turned around
Yeah.
and said, Bubba, I love y'all, but I gotta go. There's a tornado at my house.
Yeah. But it
So,
was really, really, it was really hard because I was really looking forward to that. But the one thing
well,
that I've learned is that wrestling is very important to me. It's been a big part of my life, but there's things that are more important. I'm not a mark. It's never going to be the thing. First and foremost, God, my Lord and Savior. Secondly, is my family, and they'll
absolutely.
always come
I
first.
agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
we just razzing you, man. Just
I
let you
know.
Except
know
for
we
the
got to.
except for the
But
fact that we're his brothers.
yeah, we're supposed to be family too. But we ain't gonna talk about that. What we're gonna talk about is we're gonna talk about the reunion is the third Saturday of every March. And anybody that listens to this and is watching it, all wrestlers are welcome. Third Saturday of every March from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock at the Old National Guard Armory in Wetumpka. We want the guys to get together. This is about bringing the family back together. People that hadn't seen each other in forever. Last reunion we had Alan Martin, we had Wildcat Wendell Cooley was there.
Oh wow,
Robert
okay.
Cooley showed up. What was the other guy's name, Bogan?
Turbo Ted.
Um,
We had
yeah,
Ken Glover. We had Juanita Timms up.
yeah, Kent Glover. Yeah,
Juanita Timms
we
was
had one.
there.
Yes.
Yeah,
To this day, I've never met her in person, but I've talked to her on the phone about 100 times, ordering gimmicks
yeah.
from her. Yeah.
And you
So
said all
we're
wrestlers, but it's announcers, you have
announcers, all workers,
referees.
announcers, referees,
If you were an
managers,
in-ring talent,
promoters. Anybody had anything to do with making a show happen are welcome. Yeah,
let's
just
talk
to
about the
say,
Doster Center. You
Uh-huh.
had some of your
yeah, let's
best
talk about it.
matches.
Hmm?
You had some of your best matches at the Doster Center. You
Yeah, of
did a
my
lot of
original
TV
run. Yeah.
tapings for the USWA up there.
Hmm.
You were working, you got to work Josh. You
Yeah,
worked,
Josh and I had a real good match down there. Yeah.
who else did you work there?
Uh,
Winger,
Glacier,
Glacier?
Glacier from WCW, Disco Inferno. Um, I know Josh and I had a couple matches,
Yeah, you were actually getting a
and
big push through the USWA.
yeah, and then that's when Ken couldn't decide what he wanted to do with me because I was kind of started off babyface, but I mean the first two shows, well, the plan was to run babyface. Well, then Tony didn't show up to work Glacier, so I had to work heel against Glacier, and then he kind of said, "That's okay, we can throw that away," and he had already, Cyrus was there. He put him in an angle with Swinger. Cyrus got over instantly as a big baby face. I mean, Benji was there as the local kid, and he had his crew that he would bring with him to every show that made a lot of noise for him. He was over as a baby face. He's like, I need you as a heel. And
don't forget
but
Hillbilly Pete, man.
and Pete was there, and doing his babyface character, and I mean, it was a crowded place, but and so my match with Glacier and my match with Disco, I worked heel, but which I just assumed. See, I got the spot with Glacier because someone didn't show up. Uh, After that match, Ken booked me against Disco. And I just assumed I would be going back. I mean, because Disco typically works heel. And so, but that was not my next match. And that match with Glacier was actually my first match in 90 days because I had separated my shoulder.
I
I had
remember
been
that.
out. Yeah, I had been out, and that was my first match back was against Glacier, which of course, everybody thinks he's this joke. That guy was great. He was a
Oh,
good
I was
worker.
super,
Yeah, he was a great
super,
worker,
super.
and a guy that was one of those way too nice to be in this business kind of guys. But
His timing,
awesome,
Glacier's timing was just impeccable.
and
I
he was
worked him in the match, man, and it was super enjoyable. Yeah,
and he was
super,
light as a feather. That
absolutely.
super kick he had as his finisher. I mean, I didn't even feel it, and he was apologizing for tagging me too hard. I'm like,
Well, what you got to remember about Glacier
mm-hmm,
too, when you say timing, Glacier
mm-hmm.
was a martial artist, so
Yeah,
Glacier could
Yeah,
lay him in. He could do. He knew how to pull everything just right, so he didn't tag you. He had a
mm-hmm.
good background.
Yeah, he
I
was
mean,
legit. I really liked him a lot. I wish he had come around more. But between that match and my match with Disco, there was another show that Ken had me work Josh as Nightshade, which it made me a baby face.
yeah,
Yeah, but the
And
thing was, is you were still getting booed over Josh.
so he just, you know, and he had told me that he told me he wanted me to work Disco like the day after the first show where I worked Glacier. And I'm like, okay. So I just, like I said, I assumed I was going back, baby. But then by the time Disco gets there, he's like, man, we need to work you heel because they're gonna pop for him so hard. See, that was like the one where he had the WCW All Stars there. I mean, he had David Tenzer there announcing the show. He had
Eric
Jimmy
Watts,
Hart there. He had Eric Watts. I don't
Disco.
think Glacier Disco, but I don't think Glacier came
No,
back
Glacier
for
came
another.
beforehand.
oh,
But yeah,
Larry
he did two shows.
Zabisco.
Yeah,
Larry
Larry
Zabisco was the
Zbyszko.
first
Zabisco.
show. Zabisco was the first show, and
Yeah,
then I don't know, but he had a ton of WCW legends in there, and in that one show, so all the WCW guys were gonna get the big pop. So he's like, "You got to do heel tonight." I'm like, "Okay,"
yeah.
um, and then of course we we had I think one more after that, or I think I actually worked Josh again. And he was kind of taking me back baby face again. And then we go to the Autauga Arena for the next show, and I think it was me and Cyrus title match.
Yeah,
And
we left out somebody. We really left somebody out of that roll call that I
Buff.
want to mention.
yeah,
Buff Bagwell. Yeah, we forgot
well,
about
yeah,
Buff was a
yeah,
legend. Yeah,
but yeah, Buff came. It was the last show that we did at the Doster Center. Buff was at.
yeah. I set the building on fire that night.
Well,
I
and what
remember
you
that.
gotta remember this too. They brought in all these WCW people.
Hmm.
Glenn, which is the Disco, if
Hmm.
people don't know that's his name, he was notorious for being a prick,
Hmm.
and he was able to work anything. Buff,
Hmm.
he had some background where he could be, a little bit pushy about what he wanted to do. He worked
Hmm.
anything. Eric, anything. They all were just, hey, let's get this show, let's make this thing super. So I got to give all them
Yeah.
credit. And
I give them all the credit in the world. Yeah.